So, summer is officially over, which means I am officially depressed. I've been an avid reader pretty much my entire life, and so whenever I go to the bookstore, I kind of know which sections I'm gonna hit up. But recently I noticed that there's a section of the bookstore that I frequently avoid, and that is the self-help section. A lot of the self-help books are very like inspirational with like these quotes and these like deep lyricism in the titles, which are kind of hard to understand. But then there's another subsection of the self-help genre, which is we put a bad word in the title because we're cool. They're all about like kicking ass and making life your bitch and, not taking anybody's shit. So I decided to buy one of these books and I ended up getting You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. How to stop doubting your greatness and start living an awesome life. My life is not awesome at all, and I want to learn how to be awesome, and I'm hoping that Jen Sincero can teach us. So the book starts with an inspirational quote. You can start out with nothing, and out of nothing. And out of no way, a way will be made. And that quote comes from Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith, former drug enthusiast. I used to think quotes like this were a bunch of crap. I also didn't understand what the hell they were talking about. I mean, not that I cared. I was too cool. She said, here's the quote that I'm gonna start my book with, and also just so you know, this quote sucks, and I'm too cool to even understand what the quote means. I'm assuming if you're reading this that there are some areas of your life that aren't looking so good. So her first piece of advice is that you need to go from wanting to change your life to deciding to change your life. So basically what she's saying is if you want something, you want it, and so you do it. But if you don't want it, you don't do it. And if you say that you want it, but then you don't want it, you won't do it. But if you do it, you'll want it. So you want it. I guess that's how doing things works. Okay, anyway, if you're new to the self-help world, I'm hoping this book will ease you into some of the basic concepts that totally changed my life, so you can have a breakthrough too. She said, I'm gonna give you the basic concepts. I'm gonna give you the cliff notes of the important stuff, and hopefully your dumb brain will understand. Chapter 1 is called My Subconscious Made Me Do It. Chapter 1 is about examining our subconscious mind and figuring out why we're all so goddamn depressed and why we're all such big freaking losers. Most people are living in an illusion based on someone else's beliefs. What the hell does that mean? Our conscious mind thinks it's in control, but it isn't. Our subconscious mind does think about anything, but it is in control. I'm having a hard time figuring out how this makes me a badass. Let's say you were raised by a father who was constantly struggling financially, who walked around kicking furniture and grumbling about how money doesn't grow on trees. Okay, well, I wasn't. Basically, the beliefs that you will develop because of this situation are as follows. Money equals struggle. Money is unavailable. It's money's fault that I was abandoned by my father. That's quite a jump if you ask me. Abandoning your child because you're broke is pretty freaking badass. Okay, so what the hell? She gives some more example of the conscious and non-conscious. I don't know how to say that freaking word. Your mind says, I want to lose 25 pounds. And the subconscious mind says, people aren't safe. I must build a shield to protect yourself. And then your body becomes, quote, a fortress of flab. So I guess now we've unlocked our subconscious mind. I don't know how, but we've done it. Do you feel unlocked? I do. So chapter 2 of this book is actually called The G Word, which is not gay. It's actually God. All of us are connected to this limitless power, and most of us aren't using a fraction of it. And if you ask me, I say we start using it. The universe is made up of source energy. All energy vibrates at a frequency, which means that right now we are all vibrating at a certain frequency. Everything you desire and don't desire is also vibrating. I think that she just has something wrong with her. Vibration attracts vibration. I don't know about you, but I'm not particularly vibrating at the moment. I'm actually quite calm. Maybe I should start. Maybe that's why I'm not locked in. Maybe that's why I got seasonal depression. Just start locking in. So the main takeaway is that we need to raise our frequency and match the vibration of the one that we want. I don't know how we're supposed to figure that out. And she doesn't really tell us, but are you taking notes? The universe will match whatever vibration you put out, and you cannot fool the universe. My understanding of this is basically your energy is sort of like a 401k, and God will match whatever you do. Being an adult sucks. Why am I comparing this to being a 401k? She ends the chapter literally by saying, the force is with you. So that's just great. If you're asking me how we identify our vibrations, how we identify that with God and with our purpose, I couldn't really tell you, but I could tell you that it's time to start vibrating. Grab your friggin' vibrators and let's go. So chapter 3 is called Present as a Pigeon, which is like funny because it's like pigeons aren't present at all because they're stupid. And we're all stupid because we're like pigeon. Okay, if you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. And if you are at peace, you are living in the present. And if you're in the bathroom, you're farting. We would be wise to take more of our cues from beasts and babies, basically saying like, look at the way that dogs and babies act. Like they're so present because they're not on their like Snapchat all the time. But I don't really want to like take my cues from beasts or babies. First of all, because my dog used to like hump the air. But second of all, I don't know if you've ever tried to like spend quality time with a freaking baby, but it's terrible. Baby just kind of sits there and like just kind of stares around. And I guess like it is present, but also I would hardly call like just sitting there and sleeping for 20 hours a day present. That's like my main issue with this book. She doesn't really give us any practical advice for any of the stuff that she says. I'm not even against like some of the stuff that's being said here, but it's kind of weird when you have an entire chapter of your book about how to be more present, and then the takeaway from the chapter is just you need to be more present. There's no ways to really go about doing that other than acting like a dog. Chapter 4 is called The Big Snooze, more like big boobs. Am I right? Growth ain't for weenies, but it's nowhere near as painful as living the life you're living right now. If you want to take control of your life, have faith. Trust your new life is already here and is far better than the old. Hang tight. If the big snooze pitches a fit, whatever happens, stay the course. Because there's nothing cooler than watching your entire reality shift into one that is the perfect expression of you. Huh? So basically she said, you're a loser, you need to have faith, you need to start trusting because you're a loser. There's an entire chapter dedicated to our self-perception. Her concept is called Self-Perception is a Zoo, and she actually very eloquently describes this idea in the text by saying, self-perception is a zoo. It's just as easy to believe we're awesome as it is to believe we're giant sucking things. What are we sucking? Is she saying sucking as a verb or an adjective? That really changes the context of the quote. But either way, we're freaking sucking. I kind of wish that she would say a petite sucking thing. That's just my opinion. Y'all need to quit sucking. I don't know what y'all sucking, but you need to stop. We've now made it to part 2 of this book, which is called How to Embrace Your Inner Badass. Here we frickin' go. Let's do it, y'all. Y'all feeling bad yet? I would hardly call these sunglasses badass. They actually look quite feminine, because as we all know, feminine is not badass at all. Oh wait, this pair is way more badder and way more asser. Yeah, let's freaking go, y'all. We're gonna be badasses. Let's learn. I feel like the least badassest thing ever could happen ever is probably reading a book about how to be a badass. Do you think that Jen Sincero's fan base is called the asses? I think that's great. So chapter 6 is called Love the One You Is. I don't know why there's like a random like black scent chapter. Number 1, appreciate how special you are. Number 2, drown yourself in affirmations. What if it just said like, drown yourself? That would be kind of cool. I actually have used some positive affirmations in my life before, and I don't really know how affirmations are supposed to work, but I would just like repeat things in my mind. Probably it was like delusion, right? But I would just repeat it all the time. Whenever anything even maybe kind of related happened, I'd be like, I manifested it. That might be mental illness. She actually does go and give us some examples of affirmations to give ourselves. I am one with the universe. The universe is awesome, and so am I. I am brilliant, bright, and beautiful. See, I would never be able to do that because then in my mind, I would like be stuttering. I'd be like, I'm bright, blue. I'm like, what? I love how tall I am. I love the size of my ass. But what does that affirm? Affirm means your A is firm. A meaning ass, of course, and we're badass. But your ass is also big. Are there really people out there that are like using positive affirmations about how their butt is big? I don't know. Maybe that's why my butt isn't big, because I haven't been affirming it all this time. Ditch this self-deprecating humor. Okay, but that's the brand. That's the brand. Now she's coming for my gig. I've actually never really been self-deprecating. Because I don't even know how to perceive myself to be deprecating of myself. See, look at the layers here. Number 7, don't compare yourself to others, because comparison is the fastest way to take all the fun out of life. But I completely disagree. I think that you should always compare yourself, especially when you're better than somebody. If you're better than somebody, you need to just go around to everybody and you need to just be like, I'm better. And then guess what? You'll feel better because you are better. And that's the truth. Can you imagine what our world would be like if our biggest heroes succumbed to the perils of comparison? If the guys in Led Zeppelin compared themselves to Mozart. Then she says in italics, because it's funny, dude, that guy's huge, way huger than we'll ever be, and he doesn't even have a drummer. I think we should get rid of our drummer and add some harps. Okay, so basically she's saying if Led Zeppelin compared themselves to Mozart, they would have got rid of their drummer, and that would have been horrible. I can't even name one Led Zeppelin song. They would sound way better with a harp, if you ask me. The final takeaway from this chapter, which is all about loving ourselves, the advice that she gives is to love ourselves. So that's great. One of the inspiring pieces of wisdom that she gives us, which is written in all caps, which is pretty aggressive, do not waste your precious time giving one single crap about what anyone else thinks of you. I personally think it would have been better if she would have added like random swear words into there. What other people think about you has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. I actually think this is incredibly true, because one time I was going for like a 10-mile run and I ran past this group of like teen boys on bikes. When I passed them, they shouted, "Fatty." And then I spent the next 30 minutes of my run really dissecting what they meant by that. I guess maybe they were just saying I was fat. But the truth is, I was just protecting myself with a fortress of flab. Here is how to get clear on who you are and what your calling is. Let's do it. Number 1. Be the alien. Imagine that you're an alien floating around in outer space. So basically, her advice is to pretend to be an alien, and then you will be happy. This book does this thing where it will have this like takeaway, and then you'll be like, okay, great, let's learn about it. And then they will just repeat the thing. There's a section about how we need to follow our fantasies. She'll be like, follow your fantasy. And then you'll be like, okay, how do I do that? And then she'll be like, okay, so a fantasy is basically like a thing that isn't real, that you want it to be real. Chapter 9 is called Loincloth Man. Through reading the chapter, I couldn't tell you what loincloth man means. I don't know what that is. I don't know what message we're supposed to get out of that. But I do know that at the end of this chapter, she does give some groundbreaking advice, which completely moved me to tears, which is basically love yourself, no matter who you really are. I'm an alien, remember? Actually, no, I'm a little bit more of a badass. Let's go. I don't feel like a badass at all. I kind of just feel like an idiot. She should have called this book, You Are an Idiot. But that wouldn't sell at all, because there's no bad words in the title. Here are the steps for basic meditation. Number 1, sit in a comfortable cross-legged position on the floor. Okay, let's do it. Sit up straight and relax your face. Close your eyes. Focus on your breathing. I am a badass. Gently release any thoughts that come into your brain. Ta-da! That's it. So basically the way that you meditate is you freaking sit there and then you just like breathe. She does give us some suggestions for meditation. Imagine a bright beam of light shooting down from the sky, shining in through the top of your head, running through your entire body and out of your bottom and up to the sky again. So basically she's saying that we're supposed to like fart out the light. I don't understand that at all. The light comes in and then you poop it out and then it goes back through. It's a cycle. The poop, it goes in, poops out, shoots back up and around. That's what you're supposed to think about. Your job isn't to know the how, it's to know the what and to be opening to discovering and receiving the how. What the hell does that even mean? Your job isn't knowing the shit, it's to know how the bitch and to be open to discovering the ass. This chapter is called Gratitude, the gateway drug to awesomeness. Yeah, I talk about drugs cause I'm a freaking badass, let's go. We should write thank you notes as a way to like express our gratitude, which is funny because gratitude is literally means to be thankful. So it's like, you can show your gratitude by being grateful. I'm like, thank you so, wow, I never really thought about that. Part 5, how to kick some ass. There's an entire chapter about how we should love money. It's called Money is Your New Best Friend. You either need to pay for it with money or manifest the money. How do we do that? She keeps saying stuff and then I get interested and then she just kind of like, is like, okay, next topic. Tell me, how do you manifest the goddamn money? And I don't like the implication that you can like, just like hope that the money will come and then it will come. The final takeaway from the chapter about how we can get rich and get money is to love yourself. So the final chapter of this book came and I was hoping that at the very least, I would feel the badassery wash over me. And then let's read. Believe, really believe that what you desire is here and available to you. And then you can have it all. Love yourself. Because you are badass. Oh my gosh. I was the badass all along. I thought all this time that I was learning to be a badass. But then I realized it always said that I was a badass. No, it's stupid. I don't, it's so dumb. So my general takeaway from this self-help book is that it was dumb. I don't feel particularly enlightened. I don't really feel like I learned anything. It just kind of felt like a lot of dumb advice that didn't really even make sense or wasn't even really practical. But let's check out some reviews and see how the world reacts to this book. This girl named Nikki said 5 stars. This book is bad. Ass. My review would be this same review, but it would just say, this book is ass. Bad. This girl Lauren gave the book 5 stars and said, okay. I am a badass. Are you, Lauren? Are you really a frickin' badass? Mrs. Mika Helly said, this book was badass. I love how everyone just says the same thing. If you have any mental barriers that you are holding you back from achieving your goals, then this book is for you. You have to be comfortable with some colorful language, mostly the A word. I've read a lot of books on this subject. Oh, poor Michelle has been desperate to be a badass. But this one was so much more in your face. I plan to read it again right away to make sure I get the full effect. She said, I already forgot everything. I need to restart it. So there are actually quite a few spin-off books for this book, which was quite a big success. You are a badass at making money. You are a badass every day. And there's another one called Badass Habits. There are like seminars for this book that happens. Jen Sincero is like a public speaker and kind of goes around and shares her amazing advice with everybody. There's daily journals. There's like devotionals, there's all sorts of stuff about how we're badass. But I found something pretty amazing online, and it is a you are a badass talking button. Basically, this is a button that you're supposed to like put on your desk or just have around you at all times, and then you hit it. So let's hit the button and let's see our life change forever for the good.
You are a badass.
Really?
You can do it!
I probably can do it, but after hearing you say it like that, I don't think I want to do it. But if I was in an office and I hit the button and it said that, like, would my whole, is your whole day supposed to change? No, all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, wait, I can do it.
You create your reality.
Who said I didn't? No one ever said that. You were the one that said that. So now you are under the assumption that I don't do that. Rude as hell, button. So I guess the main takeaway from this entire book is I kind of think it's a little bit of a scam. I think this idea that somebody can sell you all of the answers, and like if you read this book, all your problems and all your mental illness will just go away, and suddenly you'll be motivated and all of your worries will be gone. I think that's kind of fake. I think that a lot of times the self-help genre can be very helpful. Obviously, if you're in a bad place, even just having a random person say something as simple as like, you should love yourself. Like sometimes that can mean something, but other people that just is kind of empty, especially when there's no practical advice. And I think different things work for different people. If I'm going through a particularly stressful time or a time when I'm lost or I don't know what decision to make, I'll just go for a long run. I'll run for like 2 hours and just think things in my mind and zone out. And then next thing I know, I'm like, I know all the answers to the universe. But obviously not everyone's going to do that. And some people, if they don't know how they feel about certain things, they'll go to therapy. So I think that if I was somebody who didn't have an outlet and I wasn't great at processing things, or maybe I was feeling stuck in life, I maybe could see a world where I would read this and I would feel like all the doors have been opened. Do I think that Jen Sincero is evil? No, I don't. Do I think that she and other self-help writers could be potentially preying on people who are depressed or vulnerable and need help or guidance? Yes, I do. And maybe if somebody read this book, they'll be like enlightened and they'll be happy and all their worries will go away. So I can't even be upset that they're like marketing to people who are potentially vulnerable. And even though I think that some of this stuff is ridiculous, and even though I don't think that any of this is particularly helpful, I do think that something as simple as saying like, you got it, sister, you can do it, you're strong. I do think that that for some people could change their life. And also I want to say this as a general thing. I think you should be very careful who you take advice from. I don't know who Jen Sincero is. I know that she wrote this book. I know that she does seminars all around. I don't think she's a bad person at all. But what are her qualifications in any of this? If you ask me, she's just some random lady. And I don't mean to throw too many strays at Jen Sincero. I wouldn't say there's anything particularly special about her, which sounds really mean. I don't know if she's enlightened. I don't even know if she's living a good life. For all I know, her life's a mess. For all I know, she's drinking all day. She's eating Doritos. She's crying herself to sleep. I don't know a thing. So why am I gonna like try to live her life? The only person that is responsible for your life is you. And that's pretty badass.
You are a badass.
That's so right. I agree this time. The more that I think about it, the more that I realize that like it is kind of sad that you broke people will never level up to a badass. You imagine if you opened like chapter 1 of the like you're a badass at making money book, and like it was like, okay, step 1, you're just gonna write a bunch of dumb advice and you're gonna sell, and these idiots are gonna eat it up. Like I would actually kind of respect that.
You create your reality.
True.